So when we talk about your experiences as a content creation strategy, let's talk about things that will help you here. So one, what is it that you can teach? What do you know really well and you know other people don't? And you can decompose and make it easy for them to understand. That's a great place to start when it comes to content creation because you're already sitting on that knowledge. There's probably something you know well right now, and you could bang out an article or 5 articles or probably 20 if it's something you've been doing for a long period of time. Um, Another one is, what are the questions you get asked over and over again? And this could be in a couple different ways. One, the questions you get asked as a professional. So again, you might be a coach. What are the 4 or 5 problems that people seem to be asking you over and over again, and you're giving the same answers? Well, there's a great piece of content that you know is probably going to be pretty scalable. But it may be questions you get asked over and over again outside of your profession. It could be in social situations, or it could be in sports, or it could be in something, one of your hobbies. All of these different things are can act as pieces of inspiration for you to create content, and there's always a way to link it back to your business if that's the angle you're trying to play on your WordPress website. So that's a great thing, and what you'll find is as you start doing this with as you start integrating your WordPress website and using it more and more, you'll become more sensitive and more aware of things that happen in your life that you want to blog about, and that's kind of cool because it just makes you a more aware person and more integrated with your environment. Another one is, what do you want to show off? What's something you're really, really good at that you could turn the video camera on and show your talent? And this could be something like, beatboxing for the camera. But I've seen videos where, a guy gets on there and does this cool little routine. He's got 20 million visitors. Well, 20 million visitors on a YouTube video, you could send a lot of that traffic to a website and do something with that traffic. So, show off your talents and get out there and don't be afraid to show the world what you're good at. And that's a great another source of inspiration for content. And another big one as well is opinionated things. If you have a really strong opinion about something, one, there's a chance that there's going to be a lot of people who agree, but there's going to be an equal chance there's going to be people who disagree, and both of those things are very good because it leads to traffic and it leads to an audience, and most likely an engaged audience. And the final one I'll mention is your war stories or just tips or things you've learned along the way. Even if you're somewhat of a rookie in what you're doing, you've probably already made a mistake or had a couple failures that you can share that somebody else who hasn't been there yet can benefit from. And it may be other areas of life as well. Maybe you failed in a relationship or you failed in a course at university or college, doesn't matter. All of these are life lessons that you can share and somebody will probably be interested in reading or listening to. Now, the second content strategy is listening to other people or having other people's experiences feed your content. And the easiest way to do this is to set up an interview with somebody. And I've seen people do this very successfully. Um, so you could set up an audio interview where you both get on the phone and you record the phone call, and that's really easy to do with freeconferencecall.com, or there's different sites that let you record your voices while you talk to somebody. Another idea there is you could do Skype interviews where you each get on Skype and you have your video camera, your Skype video running, and then you have a little screen recorder capturing each person's audio and video feed. So now you have an interview that's done on the internet, but it's still sort of this visual effect. You get to see the person and their mannerisms, and you still get to hear all the cool things they have to say. So interviews are a great way of creating content, and you get to leverage someone else's knowledge, and all the pressure doesn't have to be on you all the time, which is something I like. Guest authors is a great way of getting people's input. So if you want to build up the traffic to your blog and the number of posts that you have indexed in Google, and you don't want to always rely on yourself to create that content, maybe you've got some friends or associates or people who you found on the internet that also write or create good content that matches your theme. That's a great place to go. Another one is getting a collection of high quality content into a single post on your site or in a blog post itself. For this, I'm just going to show you a quick live demo. So here's a blog post I found called Best WordPress Plugins, and it's a well done article here by this blogger collecting all the top WordPress plugins across different categories. So for advertising, for affiliates, maintenance, SEO, the list goes on. But this is really cool because what you're doing as a blogger here, the strategy is that you're collecting a bunch of different information that can be found on other blogs or other informational websites, putting them all into one single useful location in your own blog post. And people tend to bookmark and share these kind of posts. And I haven't even seen this post before. If we scroll down, I'm going to assume there's quite a few comments here just because of how many different pieces of information were pulled in. So we keep going down, and you can see there are 86 responses to this article. And it's for a reason. There's just so much information collected here, but it's again leveraging other pre-published information that's already available online. And the third content strategy is reactions to other content. This can actually be pretty interesting exercise once you get involved in it. Um, Basically, what you're doing is you're responding to another piece of content that inspired you. That's one way. And what I mean by that is you're probably, as you get involved with your WordPress site and you are a content creator, you're going to be out on the web looking at what other people and other bloggers are doing to get some ideas and to get some inspiration. And one example I had actually was I read a lot of personal development and self-improvement websites because it's kind of what I do. And there's one site in particular I read, and I know they have a massive following. Like they're listed on some major websites as a source of good personal development information. And they wrote one article that really caught my attention, and I couldn't stop thinking about it for 3 or 4 days. And so it hit me. I need to respond to this article. And so what I did was I read the guy's blog post, and then I recorded my own video reaction to what he had said in his blog post. Then I posted it up on my website, sent it out to my audience, but I included a link to his article. And I did that very strategically because I knew if I included a link to his article, there's a very high probability that him being a blogger, he'll get a trackback message saying another blogger has linked to you and referenced your work on their site. And sure enough, that happened. And so he came over to my site, watched my video, left a comment saying, how much he appreciated me responding, and then he went and published some of not just one but like 3 or 4 of my posts to his Twitter followers, which was great because it's like the law of reciprocity. I took interest in his stuff, and I was willing to go to the point where I was commenting on his content. He was very impressed by that, so he sent it back in return. It was a great way of getting getting a person on my side and to know who I am, and two, getting some traffic. So it was cool. Reviewing a product or a company. So there's a bunch of different ways you could do this. You could review a specific item you bought in your household. You could review a coaching or educational system you purchased, or maybe a customer service engagement that you had to deal with. Maybe you had a really good experience with a tech support person at an IT company or at a cell phone company. You could write about that, and there's probably people that want to hear about your experience with the company that they're considering doing business with. So reviews are a really good way of getting some traffic and also having new content for your website. And the final one is searching social sites for hot topics and then writing an opinionated blog post about it. Having a strong opinion is never a bad thing when it comes to creating content that gets read and gets found by people. So the way you can do this, I've given you 4 examples here. You can use the search.twitter.com or Google's blog search, or StumbleUpon or Dig, which are social bookmarking sites. And these are by no means the only ones available. These are just the ones I prefer, and probably some of the more popular ones. But you can go to any one of these places and search for things. So in Twitter, you could search if let's say you are, you're a personal trainer and you do fitness classes. You go to Twitter and do searches for people that are talking about a new fitness regimen they need, or that they feel out of shape, or they feel overweight, and hear what they're saying. Maybe somebody's blogged about how they've had a really hard time sticking to their diet. Well, there's a person you could read their article and then write a piece of content in response to that article, among other things. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with that, but great way of getting some ideas for content. And sometimes all it takes is just reading someone else's stuff and reacting to it, increasing that whole social presence on the web, which seems to be the way to go these days.